So what does Kamala Harris need to say to voters like that who aren't feeling the impact from Democrats in their communities?
You know, there are two very important things happening here at the same time. The first is many of those voters have a very good point. The Democratic Party has not done enough to engage with black men in a meaningful way. I think she's taken concrete steps this week to fix that, and particularly with the first initiative surrounding entrepreneurship and $20,000 loans. Entrepreneurship in the black community at every level, from barbers to tech entrepreneurs, is something that's incredibly important, and so that will be impactful. But also, we have to consider this, and black voters know this. Donald Trump is unfit to be president. He seems to be mentally unwell. At every level, he is not our candidate. And so what you're seeing is, among black voters, there may be some hesitancy, but it's not people who are supporting Donald Trump. It's people that are saying, I have an issue with the Democratic Party. I need those things to be fixed. We should also remember one thing. Our national debt is at $35 trillion right now. By the end of Trump's first term, that could be $50 trillion. That is incredibly problematic from an economic perspective. And so black voters understand that. I think black voters also understand the fact that these tariffs he wants to put in place will drive us into a recession. That's also critical. And so as we have this conversation, let's keep the perspective of black voters are smart voters. They understand what's at stake here, and overwhelmingly, they will continue to support this candidate in Kamala Harris because she's the better option for this country.
I'm curious about criminal justice because one of the criticisms we've heard of Kamala Harris, and sometimes without many specifics, is what she did when she was a prosecutor in California, right? And in a critical way. And then you have Donald Trump saying very recently he wants to return to proven crime-fighting methods, including stop and frisk. He talks about going after his political enemies. Does there need to be clear messaging about that? Do you think her record may actually be hurting her from the time she was a prosecutor with black male voters?
No, I think what she should do is move forward and focus specifically on how she will fix our broken criminal justice system. Whatever happened 15 to 20 years ago, I think for most black men is not at the top of their list in terms of how they're going to select a candidate. What she should do is focus on the fact that, you know, there are many hundreds of thousands of people in jail right now for selling marijuana that is currently legal in many states. What she should do is focus on the fact that there are many people in the marijuana industry who are black who don't have access to banking because of the current system. She can fix those things. And again, look, Donald Trump is a criminal himself. He's been indicted multiple times. He's been impeached multiple times. So anything he has to say about the criminal justice system or anything around that has no relevance at all, and he knows that.